afternoon, everyone. What an afternoon it's been. Elwa, nice to see you as always. It feels like it was just yesterday that we recorded the keynote together in the office. And now here we are with the keynote officially live. We have reached a few hundred people watching it live, it seems like, which is absolutely amazing. And we're very, very excited to dive deeper into what the new Phantom 2.0 is, how it came to be, and answer any questions that we might have in the audience today. But first things first, Alwa, how you doing?
Hello, I'm doing well. Exciting day. Just watched the keynote with the people in the office. The office is packed today. So yeah, it's very excited to finally show it to everyone. I think we got so many requests from the insider group or even online on Facebook. So it's nice that it's finally out,
It's nice that it's finally out, and also it's nice that we finally get to share the work that you've been doing for the last year and a half with the world. It's always the hardest part, I think, especially like with the Pro that took us 2 years to bring it to life. Like I think you kind of forget how exciting it is when you go from like V3 to V4, and then everybody sees the V4, V5 for the first time, and it's nothing but mind blowing, basically. So really nice to see the reactions and how excited everyone feels about the product. So let's start there a lot. Why don't you give us a quick summary of sort of how did you approach the design process of the Phantom 2.0? And like we said in the keynote, it was a big challenge. You've got this huge legacy to live up to. Where did you start? What was your thought process?
Well, no, back in 1995 when I no, to be honest, the new Phantom started after the infamous Explorer, right? We were showing videos of the Explorer with the side-by-side platform, right? And we decided that it was going to be too much of an uphill battle to educate people on this riding stance. And there was still some work to be done with this unit, right? It was removable battery, like the foldable platform, a lot of new things. And we just released a Pro. We were like, okay, we're going to try to not do so many new things again. So we were like, okay, let's go back to the drawing board and do a format that works. And the next in line to be upgraded was going to be obviously the Phantom. And so that's what we did. We went on the drawing boards and basically we took everything we learned, and people can see it in the video, right? It's pretty obvious that it's following the same design language. It's now part of the same family as the Pro and the Go. And we tried to do a scooter that would address all the issues that not only issues, but requests, right? Requests that we saw from the Phantom, but also from the Pro, right? Releasing the Pro, there was so many new innovation in it. And as we always say, it trickled down to even the Go, sharing pretty much all the same components feature-wise. But there was still some little things, that it was like, okay, now it's our chance to really address everything. So this is why we made certain decisions, like, well, finally upgrading the turn signals that I'm sure a lot of people are going to be happy about. And the thing we don't see with the turn signals and the animation that we have is how bright they are too. So our turning signals that we currently have are bright, but those ones are just next level, like the lights on the body. That was a big pain point for all the Apollo's customers, not just the Pro. And also the disc brake, right? We went so hard on drum brake, and we still believe a drum brake is the way to go. And we see it with customer service. Just the amount of requests we get for drum brake is zero, and we still get so many requests about, discs that are not well adjusted on the Phantom, even the new Phantom. There's always something with this, but it's something that keep coming back and back is hearing about those. People wish that we would have put disc brake on the Pro instead of drum brake, and this was for people not to purchase. So we're like, okay, we're gonna put it, and this is why we decided to go with disc brake on the regular version, the 52 volt, and we went over and above 4-piston hydraulic brake with 3mm thick rotor on the 60 volt version. And this is just crazy. Like it's over the top. Usually people, when you look at Nut Brake or Zoom, which are the two most famous brands, I think, it's always 1 piston on each side. And we went double that, 2-piston. So I think stopping power, this coupled with the region is going to be phenomenal. But that's to answer your question. That's how we calculate. What can we do this time? The Pro, we thought it was going to be like answer everyone's prayer, but yes, there was issues with turning signal, brake, and lastly, price, right? This one, we built it. We kept that in mind, that the price needed to be similar to the Phantom, or at least cheaper than the Pro, which is not something we done for the Pro, right? The Pro, we always said we just went all out. We use all the most ridiculous manufacturing method, but it's a tank, the Pro. It's never going to crack. This one, we really took the time to analyze how are we going to make the frame, which is the most expensive part, and which key component can we select to bring the cost down while still choosing 21700 cell and the quality that Apollo is known for. And this is how we ended up with such a competitive product at this price.
Yeah, so for context, we haven't really released official pricing for this model yet. And for anyone listening who's interested in pre-ordering a unit, that will be available on October 10th. So for now, if you're interested, you can just head on over to our website, drop your email in the landing page, and we'll obviously keep you updated as we get closer and closer to offering pre-orders. But directionally, for anyone listening, if you're curious about, how is this scooter going to compare to the rest of the lineup, which I think is probably where we need to go next. The base model will be approximately 2,300 USD, 2,400 USD. And then the Stellar variant will be closer to 3,100 USD. So you're starting to see that it's priced in a very specific way, where the base variant is just slightly more expensive than the current Phantom, which is pretty insane considering how much more value it offers, right? Like just battery, controller, and kind of motors alone are a massive leap forward. Then it's got all of the, I would call them secondary features, right? Like the lights, the phone as display, the Dot 2. So just tremendous amount of value packed into a really, really good price point. And for the 60 volt, what's really interesting about that one is it's actually going to be delivering more performance than the Pro, more bang for your buck than the Pro, but it's going to be cheaper than the Pro is ever priced at, even during sale periods. So once again, we really tried to take a lot of the learnings we developed when putting the Pro together and kind of say, how do we now make it a little bit more accessible to everyone who loves our design, who loves our features? So Eloi, maybe an interesting point to go to next is really the performance aspect of the Phantom. I know you've been testing it a lot. I know you've been running it a lot. How would you say it compares to both the current Phantom as well as the Pro?
So the current Phantom, we have the Mach 1 controller, which we're looking at a 25-ish amp of a discharge, which in terms of wattage is the 1200. And we pass. What is interesting is that we pass from 10-inch on the Phantom to 11-inch on the Phantom 2.0, which usually translate into lower acceleration but higher top speed.
Right.
And this is not what we see. Because we have the Mach 2 controller, the discharge is way higher. We had 3,000-ish watt for both motor combined. So we have faster acceleration, like a lot. We have videos that we did the Phantom 2.0, the Pro, all side by side, and it's destroying everything. So there's that, and the top speed is also higher. Personally, I went to 70 kilometers per hour, but I'm never pushing the scooter. We need Sammy to do this. So yeah, basically, to answer your question, higher acceleration, higher top speed on 11-inch, way more comfortable. The suspension just feels beautiful. No, the suspension is more similar to what we had on the original Apollo Pro and back in 2021. This kind of geometry, or as people are familiar with the Apollo Ghost, just with way better spring. So it really feels like butter. So that's fantastic. And the way that it's built, you take the current Phantom 1.0, it's 4 swing arms, right? You have front, left, and right, and same thing at the back. With 4 suspension spring on them, and this translates that when you turn, they are shifting those, so it feels more dynamic, but you always end up with the rubbing sound of the disc because this whole geometry is moving, compared to the new Phantom that, just like the Pro, we went with one big ass swing arm that everything stayed tight and turned together. So it feels just as grippy, but it's dead silent, which is it's lovely. So everything is better on this one.
And let's talk about the tires a little bit too, because I think that's also a pretty big difference, right? Not just the size that you already mentioned in the keynote, but also the tire profile, which I think is quite different from what we've typically seen on our scooters. So tell me more about kind of the thinking behind
Yeah.
the 4-inch
Yeah,
profile.
the new tire, they look more like what we had on the original Mercane, the white wheel, this white like my face, than what we had on the Phantom. And we see it well. There's a point in the keynote that I have the original Phantom tire and the new one, and it's so much wider. And the reason for this is it feels more stable. When you ride at high speed like this, you feel like you're locked into the road because there's not that round profile. It's really flat, which is great. And again, the fact that you have the 11-inch is just next level. And we will be offering other variant of that tire. So like we mentioned, the 52 volts is going to come with some kind of hybrid tire. So there's nub tire with a nice pattern on it. And I like those because they make a sound. When you ride, you hear them. It sounds cool. And the 60 volts is going to come with the street version that you saw in this video that you stick to the road. And we're going to be offering more of an off-road version as well. So we have tire for all the taste. My personal favorite is really the street one because you can corner like crazy with those tires, and at those speeds, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. And the feedback we've been getting from our pro customer is really just like, sell me the scooter so I can modify it, right? And I think we took a lot of that feedback to heart when putting this guide together, because we know that different riders buy the same scooter for different reasons. Sometimes it's to ride on city streets, sometimes it's to go on a trail, sometimes it's to just go around your neighborhood, right? So we kind of wanted to have that 2 variant configuration, but then also give tons of accessory options and upgrade options so that you can really make the scooter your own and do it with less labor, less work than would have been required if you, let's say, just got the stock Pro. Okay, let's talk about this progressive response system, because I think that's also something that we talked about before, and I think it's one of the most underrated features that we have on our scooters, which is just this beautifully integrated controller, motor, battery, throttle ecosystem, right? Which is, as you remember when we tried the InMotion RS a couple months ago at the trade convention, it was like driving a lawnmower, basically, right? You touch it and it just goes. And so we said, where's the joy in feeling like you're just hanging on for your dear life riding this scooter that's so powerful and so intimidating in so many ways? So can you tell me a little bit more about how we're able to achieve that? Why is it so important to our riders? And yeah, I'd love to get your thoughts.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and the InMotion, one thing is shocking is when, like, at this point we rode pretty much all the scooters, and when I get on a scooter and I'm scared, it's not that I'm difficult. It's difficult to scare me on acceleration, and this thing was like, it's not because it accelerates so hard. It's because you cannot modulate it, right? So you're like this, and crazy. Anyway, beautiful looking scooter though. This system, I think the main reason why we are able to do it versus other company, and it's so hard to show in videos, right? It's something that people experience and then they're like, God damn, I can't.
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy. The difference, it's because we made the decision early on, and we made a lot of mistake with this, but now we're finally at a point that it's working beautifully. We made our own throttles, we made our own controller, our own display, our own motors. That's one part of it, which nobody does, because you need a lot of different excellent suppliers to do this, and you need to get them to work together as well, which is almost impossible. And the other very important thing is that we are in charge of our algorithm to run the motors. And as many of you know, every time we build the scooter, we built in a sequence that you're going to press a certain amount of time on the power button on the throttle, and it's going to start a sequence, right? Everybody that upgraded the original Phantom with the upgrade kit did this. It's going to detect the motor, it's going to read everything, it's going to do the same thing for the throttle. And this means that this exact, every controller, every motor, every throttle, they're a little bit different, just a little bit. There's some resistance change, between them. And this means this detection protocol that those motors are going to be perfectly synchronized for this controller that's going to fit with this throttle. And this gives the phenomenal experience that we have. It's because all of those things are working together. And again, if anyone in the comment has suggestion of how we can represent this visually or on the website, please let us know, because to this day it's hard for us.
Yeah, the best we've ever come up with was really just trying to demonstrate that you can ride something like the Pro or the Phantom 2.0 with one hand at 2 kilometers, 2 miles per hour. Like no issues in terms of delivering just precisely how much acceleration or deceleration, frankly, because it works on the braking side too, right? As much as you want. So yeah, let us know if you can think of any interesting ways to visualize that for marketing
It's sort of
purposes.
like playing a video game, you know. Like let's say I play Need
Yeah.
for Speed, right? I'm never switching gear on the remote. I'm just gonna press a little bit on the trigger, you know, and the car's gonna go slow, you know. And it's the same thing, you know. You don't even think about the gear anymore. And this trickle down to the whole philosophy of having like a simplified display because you don't need all of this, right? Um, yeah, it's like playing a video game.
Yeah,
Really.
absolutely. Cool. Anything else you wanna touch on before we jump into the questions
Yeah,
and comments?
one thing that we put on this scooter that was requested for a long time is a steering dampener. So again, it's already you can just install a steering dampener on it, which is really cool. Right now, the ones that we're riding all have it, and it's nice. You don't necessarily need it because it's pretty stable, the scooter, but a lot of you they just love those kind of accessories, and it is reassuring. So that's great. You mentioned that we optimized this model to have accessories mounted on them, which is 100% the case. So what are we looking at? The handlebar. The handlebar now it's a classic diameter, similar to what we had on the Pro. So you can mount any 22 millimeters accessories on it. Lovely. We came out with a lot of accessories. One of them is a handlebar extender. So that's going to give like basically free the whole room where the headset is occupying space right now. We have a custom lock, the V2 that is pretty much ready now. With the steering dampener, the option of the tires, we're gonna have option for the suspension as well. The deck is pre-made to accommodate something else to go on it if we decide to do this, aka a seat, you know. So if we want to do one, we can do one. So it's really you can customize the scooter however you want. And the other thing that we don't see in those videos that is phenomenal is the lights on it. So no, we started making those 360 light on the Pro, and it took us so many iterations to have the perfect diffuser and to be able to change the color in the app, as everybody knows. On this model and everything moving forward, it's only going to be white, the deck and the stem, and the back's going to be red. And the decision for this is as much as it's cool to be able to change the color of those lights, our lights are crazy bright, right? And we need like an extra little computer to convert the power and to be able to allow you to change the color in the app. And the cost of this thing and the trouble that it was bringing, to be quite honest, it's just not worth it. So now we decided to remove this component from inside the deck. So there's physically a component that is not there. And this allows us to boost the voltage tremendously. So now when you look at the scooter, honestly, it's at least twice as bright as what the Pro was, which the Pro was already insane. This one is
crazy. Yeah.
It's like you have a headlight everywhere on the scooter, and it's blinding, but it's cool. You can turn it off also pretty easily now. So the Pro, you have to go in the app and turn it off. Now it's just you click twice on the M button and all the lights turn off, and once on the M button for the headlight. So you can have the headlight and the rest off, or you can have everything on. But this is a kind of decision that we made that allow us to reduce the price, reduce complexity, and offer an even better experience, in my opinion.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's meant to. It has one job, right, which is to make the rider be visible. And to your point, the colors don't really make it any better at accomplishing that task, but brightness does. So I think it was a trade-off worth making. One last thing that I just realized we forgot to mention, and I think everyone here watching might have been following the landing page that we initially released. You know, early on, we got a lot of feedback around Ludo mode, right? Originally, we were kind of thinking about how to best offer it to the community, whether it would be through an app, and does it make sense to bundle it with something like an extended warranty and charge extra for it? But we listened. We listened to the community. We listened to what you wanted us to do. It seemed like there was a general consensus that if there's a cost associated with the service we want to bring, like an extended warranty service or VIP customer support or connectivity, people are happy to pay. But if it's something that's truly just a software-enabled feature, make it free. And so we agreed, and we decided to make the feature free for everyone who buys either of the trims. So whether you're getting the base or the Stellar trim, you're going to have the Ludo mode included free of charge, and it's awesome. So hopefully that's another little reason to choose Apollo, over a lot of the competitors that are out there. So let's dive into the questions. It looks like we have a long list of comments to power through. Why you want to kick us off?
Absolutely. A lot of chatting. The first question. Let's see. All right. From Daily Dose of Insight at 1:19 p.m. If you want to highlight the question, Matthew. My question is: will they continue to make upgrades for the original design and not make it obsolete?
So, I mean, the short answer is we will not be making any more upgrades for the current Phantom, like the Phantom 1.0, because as you probably noticed, it's a completely different chassis design, right? So what we will do is, of course, we will continue to support that model. We already have the Mac controller upgrade for that model. We have a ton of great accessories that are compatible with that model. We will continue to stock parts for that model for a long time to come. So if there's any concerns around part availability, really rest assured that that's not going to be the issue. But at some point, the Phantom 1.0 has just become old enough as a model. It's aged enough that it made sense for us to really start from scratch, which is how the Phantom 2.0 came to be, as opposed to just continue iterating on that same chassis, on that same platform. So Daily Dose of Insight, really the short answer is we will continue to support the product, but we will not continue to make upgrades for the Phantom 1.0. The upgrades, if any, will be available, will be based off of the Phantom 2.0 platform.
Yes. And we made so many upgrade kits for the Phantom with the throttle, the display, the controller. Since the V1, it's all retro compatible.
Yes,
it's enough.
It's enough. Cool.
YouTube. So there seems to be two live at the same time, at least in the beginning.
Yeah, apologies for any confusion. We decided to make a change last minute, but hopefully everyone just ended up on the right channel at the right time. I think Martin asked basically about how this model differs from the Pro, kind of from a technical point of view at 1:22 p.m.
Yes, so a lot of difference. The first one, like I touched on before, it's the way that it's manufactured. So it's this one implies parts that we're putting together compared to the Pro. That's one massive part. This is the biggest difference on our manufacturing side. RGB lights, no, like we said, just one color, the light, and two at the back for turning signal and brake. IoT, no more IoT. What we are working on now is the Apple Find My. So this is native for all the iOS customers, and for Android, they are pushing it live now-ish. So as soon as it's available for third-party accessories like Apple did, we're going to introduce it as well. But for now, at least, everybody that try IoT here saw how cool it is, but it's also very hard to maintain for us as a company. You need a SIM card, you need deals with data company across the world. You need a deal with for the antenna and the IoT. It's a nightmare. So we can accomplish all of this and even better with Apple Find My. So we decided to just go for this, and the cost for customers is so much lower. So that's great. What else? Well, 12-inch to 11-inch. Rear rubber suspension and front hydraulic on the Pro versus two hydraulic now or two regular spring. Feels just as good. And the headset is a new .2 display, so better waterproofing, anti-glare technology, NFC, Apple Find My, like I just mentioned. We have the new turning signal on it. Quad lock will no longer be wireless charging. So this is no longer an option we're going to offer on any scooters. The reason is because we already utilize too much current for all the lights that I cannot shoot extra current for the quad locking. So this is gone, but now our new headlight accessory has a USB-C output if you want to charge your phone. Well, this is pretty cool. There's going to be a revised version of the throttle. The difference now is that the buttons are a bit harder to click. Before, a lot of people, including me, you're riding, you're hitting big puddle, and your thumb can hit the turning signal. So now they're just harder to press. So hopefully it's going to fix that. And the battery, 52 volt, 30 Ah. We're passing to 52 volt, 27 Ah on the new Phantom. And for the stellar version, it's going to be 60 volt, 30 Ah. So you have a bigger battery. So the question is, why would you get the Pro that is still to sell when there's going to be a 60 volt, 30 Ah scooter that it's even more powerful? You know, obviously in the long term, we're going to transition towards these model, but let's say to answer this question now, I would say the Pro, again, how it's made, and you just look at the Pro and you see it now, like it described better than any word I can put right now, but it's a piece of art, a scooter that we made that is ridiculous. There's no other scooter that's ever going to be made like this, and that's for sure. And it's going to be like a collection piece, almost. So if you want something really over-engineered, over the top, over manufactured, that people spend a lot of time on it, you get the Pro, and if you want something just like the best value, you don't really care about this more like emotional aspect to it or artsy aspect, well, maybe the new Phantom is the way to go. But completely two different scooter, right? The other one is 12-inch tires, which as much as you can make a suspension comfortable on 11-inch, it's hard to reach that level of comfort that just the bigger tire is going to offer. And again, for the maintenance, right? We put this brake on this one, so everyone is happy for the stopping power. But if you want something reliable that you're never gonna touch, the drum brake with a 12-inch tire is the way to go. And we saw it with there's a customer this month that bought a scooter. In 30 days, it did 900 miles on it, and there's nothing loose on it. There's nothing to do.
Yeah, it's really and if anyone here hasn't seen the video that shows how the Pro is made, I highly recommend you go on our channel and you look it up. I think it's called like the Pro Production Walkthrough or something. It's just like, to Alwa's point, it's almost a it's craftsmanship, not production, that you're looking at, where every single piece is meticulously engineered, produced, assembled. Like it borderline doesn't make business sense to sell a scooter like that, because it truly is never meant to be sold at scale. It's meant to be a statement, a flagship, a symbol for us. But the Phantom was built to be much more manufacturable, which is in turn how we're able to lower the cost and lower the price for all the riders. Cool. Okay, let's address some of these other comments here. So one is the public release date. So the pre-orders open on October 10th. The delivery is currently scheduled for the first couple of months of 2025. So similar timeline to the Pro. Do you have a more accurate date you feel comfortable sharing for kind of an approximate delivery for the Phantom 2.0?
Well, yeah, I would say very early 2025. The beta testing is starting soon as well, so you're going to see a lot more videos and people posting online about it. Some of it already started. We have units here. So this is what we are looking at now. We prefer to be more conservative this time than over promising and under delivering. Yes, that's what we're looking at right now.
Cool. Okay. Some questions about the choice between disc brakes versus hydraulic brakes. Want to elaborate on sort of why we ended up going for disc and not drum?
Yes. If the question is why disc versus hydraulic, well, disc brake, we went with disc brake on the cheaper model to be able to give it a more affordable price. Hydraulic brakes are super expensive. That's one of the reasons. The other reason is you don't even need disc brake, right? Our drum brake was plenty enough with the regen, obviously, that we have in the Power RBS. It's just the 60 volt version, first of all, being more expensive. People expect this from the start, having hydraulic brake. And also it's going to 85 kilometers an hour. So you want something with a bit more grippy, and it just feels more luxurious, having the hydraulic feeling on your handle. So that's why we went to it for it. And again, why disc brake versus drum is really just so try to make everyone happy about this. Yes.
Yeah. But let us know again. I think there's something to be said about when a scooter goes 70 an hour. No matter how amazing our Power RBS system is, sometimes you just need to emergency brake, and there is no better, more effective brake than the Power RBS combined with hydraulic, right? So I think we genuinely probably have some of the best technology when it comes to braking on the market today. Especially the 4 pistons.
The other thing I'm looking forward of the disc versus drum is when like I have a locker down at my place, and I have a lot of scooters, and even here, and I always often I need to press the front drum brake to turn the rear. Like you lock the front wheel, you turn it like this, and this is something that was not possible with the Pro. So I think it's going to be a lot easier to maneuver the scooter when you are in an apartment, or pretty much anywhere.
Beauty. Man, there's a lot of questions here.
There's one from Chao Geologist. Okay, which is more maintenance intensive, hydraulic or mechanical disc brake? It depends. If your hydraulic system never leaks, there's basically no maintenance on it. Mechanical one, it's also the same. It's hard to tell because one's going to be 4 pistons, so the brake pads are much bigger. So are they going to last longer or not? I'm not sure. They should last longer in theory. I think they're both very similar. They both have their challenge, but between disc and drum, for example, drum is a lot less maintenance. But yeah, if you check your screws and follow the maintenance table we have in our manual, you're going to be fine. And we made it super easy to replace as well.
There's a question from Daniel 144 asking to compare us to the City, which is a very, very different scooter. So Daniel, the short answer is the Phantom is generally not a commuter scooter, but the City we would say is kind of our flagship commuter for long distance commuting. So if you're looking for something that's a daily driver, super reliable, built to last, but has a little bit of everything, that's your City. The Phantom is a performance machine. It's as simple as that. It's built for speed. It's built for aggressive riding. It's built for the most demanding riders we have. And so it basically comes down to what are you going to use it for? If you're going to use it and abuse it, and you want to be able to push it to the limit, go for the Phantom. If you want to just have kind of a dependable daily commuter, the City is a really good choice. Well, the next question here is interesting too. It's asking about the impact of this new technology across the rest of the lineup. So do you see some of the things we just announced kind of proliferating the rest of the portfolio over time too?
For sure, most of it. As everyone know, when we have something the best like we did for the Pro, it trickled down to every single model after. So you can expect the same with those new things, except for the Mach 3 controller. The Mach 3, it's ridiculous. 6,000. It's a 6 kilowatt system, which is it's laughable. It doesn't make any sense, right? It's too powerful, and the battery that we need for this Mach 3 controller it doesn't make any sense. It's the most powerful 21700 batteries you can buy on the market at this day, and the most expensive one. And we do this because it's the only battery that is able to discharge enough for the Mach 3 controller in the configuration that we have. So except this, the Mach 3 aside and the battery, the rest, yes, it will trickle down to every model. It's already all made, all designed, and we're going to be working hard to make it. We had a question about, are we going to continue to carry to support the Phantom with new things? No, but all the other models, as we always do, we're working on making upgrade kits available for them. So you're going to gain, even if you have a 2023 or 2024 version and you want those new features, such as the Apple Find My, the turning signal, the new display, or things like that, it should be retro compatible and come in a nice little kit like we always do.
Cool. Lots of questions about a trade-in program, trading in basically anything and everything for the new Phantom. Let us think about it. I to be honest, we don't have anything in place today that accommodates a trade-in program, but it's an interesting idea. So let us ponder on it and get back to you in the next weekly live, perhaps on Friday. Scooter weight 90 pounds. We already addressed that. That's also I think something that we just sort of mentioned briefly in the keynote, but perhaps there's a little bit more attention because the next best thing when you look at the competition is 110, 120 pounds.
For the GT2, I think it's 100.
There you go.
And yeah, then motion. I don't even know.
It's crazy, right? So not that the Phantom is meant to be portable, but if you do need to pick it up and just lift it up a couple stairs, or maybe put it in a trunk, that makes a difference. Lifting 130 pounds versus 90 pounds.
There's two things. I think the first one is this one, you're able to lock the stem when it's folded, which is not the case on most of those scooters with those spec. And it's also the shape of it, you can either grab it by the stem, or we have handles built in, like the footrest under. So you try to grab a Segway GT2, anybody's going to tell you it's almost impossible. This thing, you just cannot grab it. It's so massive. So this one is still portable, 30 pound lighter than something with the same spec. So yeah, it's It's pretty impressive without using any exotic material. So yeah, it's pretty good. I'm not confirming the weight 100%, like exactly 92 pounds or whatever, because I'm gonna wait for the final production unit to come. Like we added a metal casing around the battery. Now your battery is fully enclosed in a metal casing. So I want to be sure to have all those components in the scooter before we get the final thing. But yeah, the one I have now is 90 pounds.
Amazing. I want to be mindful of time here. We've got 2 minutes and lots of questions to power through. So for the dimensions of the scooter, maybe what we can do is we can actually just add that to the website. I think that's probably the best way to show the dimensions of the deck and the stand and everything. Pricing we already touched on. For Canadian pricing, just simply convert it from what we said before. So again, 2,400 USD. We're looking at kind of roughly 3,000 Canadian for the base model. What else do we have here?
So from Borealis, IoT works independently. Find my needs iPhone closely. Yes, but at least here and everywhere I go, people have iPhone. So I'm not. I really don't think that's going to be an issue. People put AirTags in DHL package, ship it to North Korea, and they're still able to track it. So I'm sure we're going to be fine. What will be the weight of the Pro? I guess the Phantom. We just answered that. From Trent, Apollo knocked it out of the park. Can't wait for the Phantom 2.0. Trent is our biggest fan. He has about 20 scooters. He's spending all his paycheck in scooters.
Classic Trent. There's a couple more questions here near the bottom, just about the future of the Pro. So yeah, like we mentioned before, again, the Pro is not going anywhere. It's meant to coexist with the Phantom as a luxury statement flagship piece. And then the Phantom is really a performance-focused scooter. With regards to the current Phantom, however, if you are interested in a good scooter at a great price, there will never be a better time to pick up the current Phantom than probably in the next 2-3 months. So if you are looking for a scooter sooner and you kind of don't mind sticking with the classic, the reliable, proven technology that we have there, great time to pick it up.
Yes. I can stay on to answer more questions. I have time. It's not a problem. There's a couple things I want to address here.
Cool. Let's keep going then.
All right. So we have Ride with Anthony, which is commenting a lot of things here. What are your thoughts on Punk Rider copying your frame? We already addressed that. I have to say, Ride with Anthony, he has a YouTube channel. I'm surprised every time I'm watching a video from your takes on our scooters and looking at the Segway and looking at the Go and saying the Go, it looks like it's built out of plastic. I'll never understand that and getting all the wrong spec. But that's for this one, it's going to be a pleasure to send you a unit and send you the spec sheet so you can be sure to have all the accurate specs on the dot. Except the tire small. No, I own the Pro, thinking about the Phantom 2.0, but there's not going to be a Pro. So a lot of people are asking if there's going to be a Pro 2.0. What is your answer to that, Mathieu?
So there will not be a Pro 2.0 because the Pro, the way it's made today, it actually already has a lot of the same technology as the Phantom. So again, we're not going to repackage it and offer it in different variants. The Pro is going to be what it is today. We do think the price on the Pro will come down slightly in the coming months, which is obviously really, really good news if you've been looking at the Pro for quite some time. But really, as we mentioned before, the Pro just came out last year. Really, actually, it was just delivered this year. So it's basically kind of our latest launch, right, aside from the Go. So in order to give Eloi a chance to work on new products, we obviously can't keep changing the products that just came out this year. So the Pro is staying as is. The Phantom is really focused as being the performance scooter for us. And then Eloi's kind of working on a few other projects that tackle different product categories as well.
Yes. And there's still some room for us to release interesting thing for the Pro if we want in the future. We talked for a long time about the seat that's been requested and how we designed the other models now, like the Phantom 2.0. We could share all the same seat across the lineup, so it's not necessarily just done for the Pro. Okay, we had a question from Pina Gaming Channel. Yes, why were you considering restricting something like Ludo mode as a paid feature in the first place? You know, uh, Ludo mode, it comes with it's a different headset that we have, right? We have Apple Find My and all the new stuff on the headset, and there's huge costs for this. Apple Find My, every time you make one, you need to pay Apple, and you need to pay the people making this whole. It's very expensive, and when you split it across the tens of thousands of scooters that we make, it's a lot of money. And we were looking into a way, like we were more wondering, collecting feedback of like what is the community willing to pay for to have those upgrades, because if we don't charge anything for those new upgrades, it just doesn't make sense business wise. So I think that was one of the big thing, and also the we were looking into, again, combining it with other things, right? So it was not just Ludo mode. It was either like coming with better servicing, or maybe Apple Find My was one of those things. So it was just part of a suite of things we're thinking about. Anything to add, Matt?
Yeah, it was really just an idea. That's why we were pretty quick to kind of listen to the community and pivot and focus on, essentially delivering the kind of package that makes sense for all the riders, because it's in our best interest, it's in your best interest. So no kind of hesitation to go back on our word there.
There's a thing here from Chow, and the Phantom stem appeared to be beefier than the Pro, considering I see several complain of the Pro stem breaking. I've never seen any single Pro stem breaking except one, and the guy got hit by a car. Never saw any. Maybe you mean the folding mechanism. The stem is actually different, but it's for the light diffusing aspect that we changed the inside structure. But the rest, the appearance, the size is the same, and so far it's working phenomenally on the Pro. Maybe a quick number. When we put the Segway GT2 Max, the new one with the suspension, on our push and pull rig, we do, which is testing the stem and the neck and everything, we do 13,000 repetition on it, which is okay. It's not a lot. On the Pro, the same test. Obviously, the Pro is bigger.
What happens after 13,000 repetitions, though?
It snapped. The whole thing snapped.
Right.
The whole thing snapped. The stem snap, or the direction tube inside snap, and on the other test that we did, the neck snap. With the Pro, we brought it to 250,000 repetition, and we just stopped because it takes so much time to reach that level. So there's really no issue at all with those. There is other scooter that we saw that we could reinforce a certain area that it's going to be reinforced. The Pro and the new Phantom is really not one of them. Okay, where to get the pin? Suspension back. Not dual suspension on the back like the City. So the City, we have 2 springs at the back, 1 in the front, triple suspension system. This one is 1 and 1. And the reason is because we have a lot more space to put a beefier spring. So the City is more compact, so it's 2 smaller springs. This one is bigger. And the geometry too, the swing arm geometry, allows us to have just 1 spring. And yes. When will you be releasing the Chrome model? We get a lot of requests for this. Let us know down in the comment. I saw a lot of comments about people wanting it to be black, which it's incredible black. We have 1 Pro black. I love it. Let us know. For now it's great, but if everybody wants black, maybe we can make a simple run. I will say one thing: people that will pre-order the scooter will have a foundation series. So you're gonna have something a little bit different than all the other ones. Color is not one of them, but I don't know. Maybe if y'all want it, ideally no.
So that's probably a good point, just to elaborate on a little bit more, which is that obviously for anyone who's interested in the scooter, yes, there will be an incentive in terms of the price. We're going to offer competitive pre-order pricing. There's going to be some exclusive accessories that are available with it too, but more importantly, Eloi is working on what he just described as the foundation edition. So there will be sort of special things about the first 300 units. First 500, I think. What did we land on? It's 500. First 500 units will have a couple of unique twists on them. So again, more information to be released when we open up pre-orders on October 10th. But if you are interested in this scooter, let's just say there will be a pretty good reason to be in the first 500 people that get it.
Yes. All right. RGB Phantom 2.0. Is the stem RGB function on the 2.0? No, just white. For original Phantom 60V model owner, is there now a potential for an upgrade path as you have done with the 52-volt model? For now, no. Let's say I want to put the Mac 3 controller in it. The obvious problem that comes to mind right now, two things. You don't have a temperature sensor in your motor, which the Mac 3 was built with that. And the other thing is your battery don't discharge nearly enough to this. The battery that we have on the new Phantom discharge at least 4 times more than what we ever put in any scooters before. How to differentiate if we have a Phantom V3 or V4? Motor casing, that's probably the easiest way to look. We have the new casing or the old casing. There's that. And the other one, I believe the throttles was introduced for that change, the V8 throttles.
Nice.
Okay, well, so just to conclude this, yes, go ahead.
There's a question about suspension, which is a pretty good one. So will I bottom out if I weigh 300 pounds?
So that's why we went with 2 options. I have a box full of suspension here that we're trying at the office. The short answer is, I don't know, because I don't weigh 300 pounds with the one I tried yesterday. We have someone, though, that weight a lot more than that, so we're going to be sure to have them jump on it. But that's the beauty with our suspension. In any scooter, the maximum rated capacity for the spring, or maybe on 95% of the scooter, is 2,000 pounds. That's like the maximum usually you can get. We worked directly with DNM, a Taiwanese company, and we were able to achieve 3,500 pounds. So what does it mean? Well, it means that it's a lot more bouncy for a heavier rider, and you also have the hydraulic adjustment on it. So what I'm trying to say is that even if you buy, let's say, the 52-volt version, you can change the suspension to be the same as the Stellar one, which is going to be rated for a heavier rider like this. So no, I'm not worried about that. And again, I think the best thing we can do is probably release video of showing different weight of people jumping on the scooter, all the way up to Justin, which is our big dog. It should be fine, though. It should be fine. It will be fine. The scooter is designed for 330 pounds, so I'm not. We take all of this into consideration when we claim a number like this. Okay, would the new Mac controller work with the Pro? Someone is asking if the Mac 3 controller would work with the Pro. No, the Mac 3 controller is 60 volt, and it's made for batteries that are more powerful, so it will not work. And all the connectors are different now that we don't have the RGB function or IoT. It's a complete different controller, completely. Okay, the new Phantom, it looks like it has more than 50 miles per hour. We had the top speed that we got on the new Phantom, like the official one, was in kilometers an hour. It was 89. That's what we got. That's not scientific testing on the track with in both directions, but yeah, that's about 54 miles per hour. So don't quote me on that, but that's what we got. Does more part. Okay, how do we differentiate? Okay, Apollo scooter, Johnny Castillo. Will it have a speaker? And will a horn play through speaker, or it's still a bell? That's an excellent question. Right now, there is no bell and there is no speaker. There is no horn, so it's not ideal when you ride it. There's going to be a bell for sure, like we had on the brake handle before. On the mechanical version, this brake, it's easy, right? We already have it, but on the hydraulic one, we need to come up with something new. And we're working on an accessory that would be a horn, but we decided to remove the speaker. The speaker was surprisingly complicated to do in the tight headset that we had. It was creating interference when the scooter was riding, passing through the stem and going to the headset. But anyway, I'll spare you the details, but we had so many insulation just for a regular sounding speaker. So we decided to remove it. And also now that we are adding Apple Find My and the NFC, it's taking more space in the headset, and we don't have the luxury of having a big speaker there. So if you want to listen to your music, I think there's a way better brand of a cheap Bluetooth speaker on Amazon you can buy for $30 that will do a better job than what we're doing. So yeah, we're looking more into external horn to let people know you're coming, and there's going to be a built-in bell coming with the scooter, but no more speaker. Okay. Here, you want to also. Do you mean the cutout? Okay. Okay. A lot of question about for the current Phantom. Is there any plan for a V4 to V4X upgrade kit? I guess most people are referring to the self-healing tires, tubeless tires for the tires that have tube. To be honest, originally there was a consideration of making this kit. After that, we're like, there is some complicated aspect to make those motor works with the old controller. So we said, okay, no, we're not going to do it, and we thought that didn't think much of it after that, but I keep seeing people with flat tires with the old inner tubes online, and it's annoying when we have the solution on the V4X like this. So maybe we can take more time and look at it to make a kit. The other thing too is that it would be so expensive. Maybe you can tell us in the comment. Would you be willing to pay like $500 for 2 new motors, 2 new tires, maybe the controller we need to update? Let us know. I'm sure some of you is willing to pay that, but the cost is so high. Those motors. Plus the change, you need to replace them, right? And okay, it's doable. Yeah. There's no easy plug connectors or anything. Let us know.
Okay. A couple questions here about the smart BMS. So exactly what is the smart BMS on the new Phantom, and will it enable setting the max charging?
So we have a smart BMS, like our BMS. They have over 10 protection system. It's not one that you can set the maximum level charging. What we are working on though is chargers with the dial that you can adjust. That we actually should have got the other prototype today, but that's what we're working on. That we're going to make available for all the models. Why, right? Why not putting it just in the BMS? The main reason is cost. It's increasing the cost of the BMS by at least 3 times. And if it's costing us a certain amount, it's a multiple that it needs to cost you guys, and it doesn't make sense. Would you be willing to pay, I don't know, $200 just for this feature? I'm sure some of you would be willing, but most of the people would definitely not. So it makes more sense to have an external charger that if you want this feature, you can buy the charger, and it's going to offer you a lot more room too. Like now you can decide the voltage and the amperage on a nice little display with a charger with a fan built in, compared to just selecting the maximum capacity. So
is it a fast charger too, or is it a regular charger?
Fast charger. So you can charge it as a regular or fast charger. So because now we have the fast charger on our website and the regular charger, now it's going to be one charger that's going to do both, and voila.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Okay, and there's a okay. On the Stellar model. On the Stellar model, does regen adjust based on brake lever pressure when braking? Well, so that's an excellent question. Will we have 100% regen at max braking on the brake? Okay, so right now on all our models, without exception, when you brake a little bit on the brake handle, it's going to apply a little bit of regen. If you apply a full brake, it's going to apply a maximum regen. It's because we have whole sensor, the same type of sensor you have in your throttle, in the brake handle, to a point that if you switch the wire between the brake handle and the throttle, this can become your throttle. Your brake handle can become your throttle fully modular, the signal. The challenge that we discovered with hydraulic brake, for some unknown reason, it's only 2 wires, so it's on or off the regen braking. I don't know why. Like if I was to open brand new mold for a brake handle, there's a way to do 3 wires.
Well, I think we know why, right? It's because there's just like scooters in general don't use like regen braking, right? And so when most manufacturers open those molds, they only open them for kind of regular disc handles,
Exactly. So to answer your question, Frederic, right now what we're looking at, it's so expensive to open those kind of mold too, and it's the kind of part you don't want to test. Like hydraulic brakes, if they don't leak, if everything works well with a supplier, keep it like this. So for now, what we're gonna do, it's gonna be when you brake with the hydraulic version, the Stellar version. The regen is going to be applied to just less. So it's going to be a lot more of the hydraulic brake force than the regen. But you still, when you use a throttle, you still have the full strength of the regen like you usually have. And this is what we're testing now, and it works really well. So for now, that's what it's going to be. Yes. Okay. I believe that's it. We have a lot of questions about the 2 years warranty match that we announced.
Yes. I mean, maybe a little bit of context on why a 2-year warranty and why now. For anyone who's been following us for a little while now, you will probably have seen a lot talk about the crazy rig testing setup that we have at our facility. And you will probably also have heard about this idea of testing for 10,000 kilometers. So we are proudly the only scooter company that actually does that extreme level of testing on our scooters. So that's kind of one, right? Like we've already done the work basically to figure out if our scooters last for long enough for us to offer this kind of warranty. Then on top of that, every single new product that comes to market goes through our early access beta testing program. So again, as I mentioned in the video, we've got people putting 15,000 kilometers on these scooters before they ever get released. And the smallest kinks, like how does the packaging feel? Does it make sense? Do I have any questions about which button does what? Does the app work, right? Like it's not just does the product hold up, it's is the experience a good experience that is market ready. So long story short, we do super intense rig testing. We do super intense real world testing, and then we do super intense certification testing as well. And so we kind of looked at each other and we just said, well, we're already doing all the work to essentially justify a multi-year warranty. Why not simply offer it to all riders, right? Because at the end of the day, it's in our best interest to keep you riding and keep you happy. So that's what we did, and then it just beautifully coincided with this third-party servicing network that our team has been working on. So once again, we now actually have the largest scooter servicing network of any scooter brand in North America, over 30 cities, 100 locations, and it's growing like crazy. Honestly, if there isn't one in your city yet, I'm fairly certain there will be one by next year. And so it just made sense to kind of combine that with the 2-year warranty. So we're super excited to be leading the change there.
Probably in the world, the biggest for scooters standing up, at least. Probably in the world, the biggest.
Probably, yeah.
So I believe this concludes it. We have the same question from Snell Army over and over. Please just reach out to customer service and send pictures of your Phantom. We're going to tell you exactly which one it is. And lastly, someone is a shout out to Norman from Miami. And I can do for the and yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you, everyone. Beautiful. I hope you're as excited as we are for the Phantom 2.0. There's so much more videos that's going to be released in the coming weeks.
Stay tuned.
The scooter, how it rides, comparison to Phantom Pro, the Stellar, the 52 volt. So you're going to be able to see exactly which one you need.
Beautiful. Thank you all for tuning in. Really appreciate it as always. Oh, well, thank you. And we'll catch you in the next weekly. Bye, guys.